All right, Mary, there's your key.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Ragin' With. We've got a couple of special guests this afternoon, wherever it is that you're from. Just make sure that you hit the subscribe button from wherever it is you're tuning in from because we are simulcasting to Geek Insider, Comics and More New Jersey, Indie Volt, and Ragin' ABC. Hit the button. And who are we raging with? Why, we are raging with Martin Fisher and Mike Jimmy Lortia de Brun. Did I say it right, Tim?
Nope, you fucked it
Yes,
up
you
this
did.
time.
Close.
Yeah.
For an English speaker, close. It's
Or as we
Brun.
call him, God. We just call him God.
I always trip over the Lortia. Lortia.
Russia. Drag.
Lortia. Aha. So there you
E
go.
for effort,
It's
Meredith.
just
for
Mike
effort.
Jimmy. Mike Jimmy.
It's Mike
So we
Jimmy.
are raging with. So we've got an intro. Make sure that you stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button, and while you're kind of moseying around, take a look at our show notes because we've got the link to the Radiant site, which is on Indiegogo right now. Give it a like, give it a share, back it if you can, and if you can't, like I said, hit the button. We'll be right back after this. Raging. Welcome, everybody. This is Ragin' with Martin Fisher, Mike, and Jimmy the Brun. I'm skipping that part that I trip over. We're going to drop the card here and say hello. How are you guys? Martin, we forgot to warn you about Pat's belly. I promised my husband that we would make it famous.
Can't be any worse than my spelling.
Well,
That's bullshit. You never see below my chest.
Well, in the age of podcasting and live streaming, Zoom or StreamYard, whatever it might be, I think the biggest hazard is standing up because no one's wearing pants anymore.
That's usually the one thing I do wear.
Oh.
It's above the belt that's the issue.
No, okay. I will not stand out of fear then.
You just never know. Is it boxers or briefs? No, I don't want to know that right now. Really.
To reposition the camera.
Well, we love talking about the creative journey. Mike, Jimmy, you've been on our show before, but Martin hasn't. So I'm going to put him on the hot seat for a little bit.
Oh no, I'm not worthy.
Yes,
Don't do it.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Putting you on the hot seat because as a creative myself, starting in prose, taking the last.
Don't make that seat hot. Don't make that seat hot because I'm not wearing underwear.
And the tone is set.
Right, there you go. The creative journey is not an easy one, especially when people go out as independent creators, freelancers, whatever the case might be. Comic books, for me personally, has been one of the hardest endeavors that I've ever had. It's taking all the things that I've learned in just life and my own journey. So when you were approached with comic books, what was the first thing that popped into your head, Martin? And when did you begin your comics journey?
Oh, I think the first story I ever got published was about 15 years ago, and it was in an Australian horror anthology, and it was 10 pages long. and that's, I mean, at the time, that's generally how you kind of started out. You never
Yeah.
moved straight into DC and Marvel and got a job unless you knew someone there already. So for anyone that was starting out, you just, you know, you look online, you try and find any opportunities you can, regardless whether you're being paid or not, because you want to get your work out there. You just want to get published. So that's what I did. Just started publishing little stories here and there, and then very slowly just started building it up over time to get to where we are now.
Did you start with prose? What is your writing process like? I mean, are you a prose writer, just comic book scripts?
No, I can do TV scripts and I can do comic book scripts. I cannot write prose for toffee. You can give me $2 million. I'll never be able to do it in my life.
Well, Mike Jemmy, you also write a little bit, yes?
Yeah, actually. The first comic I ever did was started as prose. I got about 20,000 words in before I realized that no, that's not how I work. Like, I work in visuals, so this is boring. Let me start drawing it. And
that was it. So prose, and you were like, not my bag.
No.
It's so funny. I started with prose, and like now spent about 1.5 years to almost 2 years with comic book scripts. Nita is brutal when it comes to edits and stuff, and now trying to go back into prose, I'm like, where are my words? And she's like, cut it, you don't need it. I mean, that's she's running in my head, right? So
Oh, that's cute.
okay.
You've got to have a ton of patience to do prose as well. And I just haven't got the patience to write that many words, and it seems like I'm not really getting far enough into it. At least with comics, it's faster.
So I definitely want to hear your perspective as far as TV scripts and comic book scripts. Is there a difference, or do you kind of write them the same?
I kind of write them the same. I use the same format, but instead of using, you know, interior or exterior, I just use panel numbers instead. But generally, the way the dialogue's placed on the page and how it's described is the same as a TV script. It just, you can kind of measure it out better in terms of how much dialogue you're trying to put on a page. I know a lot of comic writers, they do it where the text is scrolling along the page, and you know, that's their preferred way, but I can't really do it that way because I can just type a load of dialogue and then without actually realizing it, it's like, oh, maybe I'm giving this person too much. But for me, I find it hard to judge that in the long form. It's much easier for me to judge it if I do it in like a TV script.
Right. It's definitely a good way to kind of condense your ideas and thoughts in it and keep it down to bubbles and things like that. So have you, Martin, ever kind of laid out a page, or I guess the question I'm asking is, when you're kind of scripting out and things like that, are you a visual thinker where you're thinking about the story and what it might look like in your head without seeing the art, or do you prefer seeing art first?
No, because especially with the Lego stuff that I do, you don't generally get to see the art until it comes out. You know, because that's a licensed comic. At the end of the day, they're paying you to come up with a story and come up with a script, but someone else will do everything else after that. So you won't generally see it until it's on the bookshelves. Anyway, so you get an image in your head, and if any artist does have a question, they can always just contact me, and I can just say, I'll do this or do that. But generally, no, they just express themselves as they see fit. It's their book as well as your book. It's their story as well as your story, because they're the ones that are visualizing it. So they've got to do it the way they see fit as well. And it's the same with Radiant Sight as well. I won't tell. I mean, Arch has gone off script, God knows how many times now. Right, Mike?
Good Lord.
He's gone off script so many times, but what he's actually done, it kind of works anyway. You know, it kind of gets the beats of the story in there. But it would be nice if he could stick to the script for the second one, I think. A bit more.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess. Okay, so how do you beat back the people who take creative license and you're like, or do you sometimes fall in love with the art enough where you could change the script a little bit?
Sometimes, yeah. It depends on what's happening in the story at the time. If they come up with something that works better than what you put, then you'd be silly not to kind of listen to what they've got to say. You know, if they can come up with something that improves it, then yeah, great, open to it. But generally, yeah, if there's any issues or if they're not sticking with something that you feel is important, you're going to have to pull them back and go, no, there's a reason why it's this way. I really need you to do it this way.
Right.
You know, so you may have to explain a few steps ahead to go, it's this way because later on this is going to happen and it's going to relate to this. So you can do it that way as well.
Martin seems kind of laid back. Mike, Jimmy, are you the one who's like, no, do it again?
In a way, like, I can be a pretty brutal editor. But on the other hand, like, that is also from experience. And for example, the next page that I'm gonna do for Love and Cora 5 is gonna be completely different from the script because there is a lot of telling and no showing, and I'm gonna flip that around entirely because from an artist's perspective, I'm gonna make a very boring page with a lot of text. Whereas, you know, I put a 12 grid with a ton of information with visuals. That's gonna work a lot better. And it's the same for the Radiant Cycle editing it. For a big part, I let Martin loose, and because I know it's gonna be good, I know what he's doing, and I trust him on that. And when it comes to Arch, you know, there are points where I have to go, dude, you have to stop taking the lazy route, or, you know, you have to try doing this and this, because as for doing the visual part of this, or, you know, trying to improv something, it wouldn't work with the script. Like Martin and I actually were completely baffled last month because Arch added a completely new page to the script. And we were both going, did we send in the same script? Because I don't know where this is from. And it works. It was very good. But, you know, we had no idea, you know, it wasn't discussed with us. And so as long as the communication is there on why and how you're doing it, you know, I'm just as laid back as Martin.
Because, I mean, Arch did that and it totally threw us. It doesn't just throw us, it throws colorists as well, because the colorists have got the same script that me and Mike have got. And then they're going to follow what's in there, and then they're going to go, hang on, what's this? This isn't here.
Yeah.
You know, what have you done? It was like, we didn't do it, he did it. It wasn't us.
Yeah. You know, and then suddenly you got to point fingers, and that just doesn't feel right. Especially when...
Yeah, I mean, what Arch did was he took something that was one or two panels, he turned it into an entire page of 4 panels. And that like really threw us, and we're going, well, where did this come from? We didn't do this.
Yeah.
And then we've made it work. Really, we've just made it work for what it is. But I mean, the second one, and obviously going forward now, we are paying more attention. So we did discover there were some other pages he went off script, but then when we kind of went back and put them together, it didn't dilute from the story at all. Luckily,
yeah.
So we've kept it as it is, but we are keeping a better eye on what he's doing now. And if we have to pull him back, we'll pull him back.
Yeah. So
because the entire story of the Radiant site, it's 6 issues, and it's all specifically planned. I mean, it's scripted. I've written the whole thing. It's just a matter of Arch drawing it. So there's something specific in mind for the entire story.
So, one of the things that we like to talk about also on RAGIN with is how you guys found each other. Finding a good core team is so difficult, and Mike Jimmy kind of alluded to it on the pre-show that he gets very, very possessive when he finds somebody that works well with him, because eventually you find kind of a shorthand with each other. So, but the journey to find each other is often a difficult one. You kiss a lot of frogs before you find the prince. So, how did you two meet up? What is your story?
COVID. All thanks to COVID.
Essentially.
Oh man,
So-
I was wanting some like romantic story.
Okay, so
Seen him across the smoky room, smell of wine and cheap perfume.
no. So
No
last
nightmares
year,
involved.
before before I even met Martin or anything, my ex used to write Life and Cora. She did Life and Cora 1 and 2. She did a wonderful job. Like nothing on her when it comes to writing. But for half a year straight, I was just pulling on her, going, I need Love and Cora 3. This is a story. Like the issue 1 has people coming back for issue 2, and they want more. You know, like we got something golden here. We need to get moving on this. She just didn't do anything for half a year straight. Like literally behind her laptop, listening to music. You know, just all day. She was a writer, but she didn't write. And in July last year, she finally left. And that was a real finally. And, you know, like stuff finally just dropped for me, you know, and all that shit. And I was like, you know, pick yourself back up. You got something going here. You've been doing everything on your own for the last 2 years anyway. Get your shit together, find a writer, and continue the series. And so on Tapas, on the forums, like the webcomic platform, I sent out an ad for a writer. And I got way too many replies, of which most were disappointing. Look, if you've made a successful poem that got a ton of likes when you were 15 on DeviantArt, I'm sorry, that doesn't make you a writer. And suddenly there was Martin and Kimberly Kovac, who did Love and Core 4 after him, who actually had work to show, you know, especially Martin going, yeah, I work for Legos magazine. And I was like, what? Are you sure you replied to the right thing? And we just started brainstorming.
Just Lego.
Well, compared to what, you know, I'm used to from the Tapas forums.
I was going to say, you know, for some people, Legos is life. Okay, just ask my husband.
Fair enough. It's still Lego, you know.
Yeah. So finding each other. Yeah, go ahead, Mike Jimmy.
So, you know, I was like, okay, so this is the deal, you know, these are the royalties you're going to get. This is from a series that has proven itself as being sellable. I want to improve the quality overall and, you know, get going on this. And he came to me with the hive mind sentient rock people, the Rockhola in Life and Cora 3. And we just jumped on it. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. And 2 days later, there was a script. Like, absolutely insane. And I barely had to do anything else but to proofread it. You know, it was just there. It was good. It was ready to go. And I started immediately. And, you know, Kimberly works a little slower. She takes more time on her scripts. But, you know, that's fine. But, you know, this guy wrote 4 Love and Cora scripts in the last year. I got so much work to do. like, how can I let go of someone that gives me so much love for for something that just made me go, this is the world, these are the rules, go have fun in my sandbox. And that's incredible. And to have them deliver and be reliable, and with the Radiant site as well, like I just went, my side job's taking way too much of my time. What could you help me with? And he started doing shows on his own, like without me asking or anything. And yeah, like I couldn't do this without him anymore.
I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could if you tried.
I wanted to kind of ask you guys too, because Martin, you said earlier that you kind of started off with horror anthology. So going from horror to Lego to Korean drama, that's quite a broad range. I mean,
you should see the journey map. It's fun.
So I guess the question is, if you were going to pick one or two genres and say that's my passion, and these there are some that are jobs, it's like you can do it, it's like take it or leave it, and then there are some that are like absolute soul killers, but they pay the bills, right? What would you say is your passion writing?
Sci-fi. Definitely sci-fi, hence doing Lego Star Wars, and hence that great big poster on the wall behind me.
Yes, I've been admiring that.
Yeah. So definitely sci-fi. That's the number one, and it probably always will be as well. I mean, you should see my shelves. There's enough evidence on the shelves that will definitely prove it.
Oh, well, you're going to have to post some of those on your Instagram so we can take a peek into your...
Oh, no. You'd be better off just looking at it, I think.
Shelf love. That's what we're going to call it. Shelf love.
There's always shelf love. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, people love my rack.
Yeah, there you go. You got a nice rack too, like Jimmy. Nita's dying thinking that she's on.
Nice.
There you go.
Dude, that's awesome.
He's totally nerding out on us. Very good. And you got the Star Trek.
Is that
wow.
proof?
There you go.
I like this guy.
Just in case.
Right, just in case.
Dude, these are awesome. Oh my god, yes.
I think my DVD-ness here will...
I've seen Gundam. Yeah. Star Wars.
Yeah. And up here as well, because you can.
Of course.
Well, we want to give a little bit of love to the people who are tuning in right now on the live stream. Thank you to Marvi, the Sin Killer.
Except Chris Fisk, we don't want to give him love right now.
We don't want to give him love. Why not?
No, he's a distraction.
We've got Carl Witzman here. We've got Michaela Jade. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you. Marvi's here. Critical Blast. Welcome. Chris Fisk.
RJ.
Causing problems in the chat. That's okay. Keep us occupied.
Chris, thank you so much for backing just before the stream. I love you very much, and you are awesome.
Thanks, man.
Very cool. And he's got a campaign going too. We just had an interview with him. It was a lot of fun. You want to talk about some like gaming, RPG, beautiful art.
Infinitale Chronicles.
Infinitale Chronicles. Yes. So what was it? I saw something that Marvi said. What about Korean horror / romance?
Oh no!
Throw in a little sci-fi. Put it out in space. Put in a few laser beams.
To be fair, they're probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
Chris loves his Korean drama. Legos.
They've probably already done it. Somebody's probably already done it.
Oh God! No, extra manual. And a comic by Martin in the back.
Yes, Korean drama Lego sets featuring serial killers. Love it. That would be in my toy box.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Oh my goodness. So,
So
getting back to your story.
yeah.
The difference between like TV scripts, because I'm kind of curious. I am picking your brain, Martin, because you are new to the show. With TV scripts, obviously, you have actors who are kind of filling in the blanks and things like that. But comic books are definitely a little bit more in depth as far as direction. So is that something that you do because as you're writing it, you have that visual in your head, or is that something that you kind of leave to Mike Jimmy to kind of collaborate and go, what do we want this page to look like? Because he's got the artist brain.
Well, with Life on Quora, it's best that I just type it and Mike draws it how he sees it. I think because ultimately it's Mike's world and he knows every blade of grass and every star in the sky. So it's best that I just tell him what. It's best that I just tell him what should appear on a page, and he can figure everything else out. And well, that's what I'm sticking with, whether you like it or not. And with everything else, doing Lego Star Wars, I have to be a bit more specific about who's in the background, who's in the foreground, just to give the artist something to work with. Because there's some artists, I think there's a team that are in Brazil, they like to be told where things on the page should be rather than them decide. But with like Radiant Sight, I will probably be a little bit more specific as to how something should actually look. But not always. Not always. But if there's something ultra specific that should be seen, it will appear in the script for sure.
Well,
I'd like to bat that over to Mike Jimmy because you do the art for Life on Quora. Before Martin was in the picture with you, you had another writer that you were working with. But how much of that was like your script, your ideas and things like that, or was it something like I basically want to know the origin of it, like what popped into your head that said, yeah, I want to do this story, and did you see it first, or did you have to kind of outline it for your writer?
So with Life on Coral 1, we kind of just went all over the place. What actually came out with the 22 pages was like 3 pages thrown out completely, rewrites, like proofreaders telling us all kinds of things that just didn't make sense for the kind of comic we were making. Yeah, it was very loose, and essentially like the intro page with the core and the continents floating around it, that was just me saying I would like to create a true fantasy without humanoids. And from there, it was mostly just creating the Nuttall, so the flying creatures from the first issue, and the Tusker, the ground living ones. And, Utsi, the main character, who I have a plushie of right back there, breaking her wing after being attacked. That one.
Bitch, Melvin.
I have made those books too.
Having a bone set by the Tusker, down on the ground, and them learning from one another. So that was essentially everything we thought about. And with me improv writing in groomed, so ground, very roughly said, wanting to fly because he saw it from Utsi. that pretty much made the entire issue. And the only thing that I got from my writer at that point was an Excel sheet describing the scenes, not even dialogue or anything. That was just me drawing the page and being like, so how would this fit? And what would they be doing? And it took a lot longer because of that. So on Lava Coral 1, we spent like 3 months and it was published. And Lava Coral 2 took over a year because I had so little direction and idea of where to go while trying to make a 32-page story and pulling on someone who didn't brainstorm with me. And yeah, from Lava Coral 3 onward, I get the script, I know exactly what I'm up to. I'll edit here and there, but for the most part, the story is out of my hands. And it's just so easy to jump into it, and by the time I'm reading the script and editing it, like I'm pretty much already seeing every single page in my head. It's right there. I know exactly what's going to happen, and it's so easy to work like that.
When we're going to take a little bit of a bump here. Nita's going to grab that. But when we get back, I want to hear about some of the hurdles that you guys have overcome in your creative journey. Hey, Nita, you want to hit a bump? She wasn't even in this tab. I'm on to you, girl.
I saw the eyes go this.
No, I was not. I was trying to rectify a technical problem we're having that we'll discuss after the show.
Oh,
Someone's in trouble.
Murphy gets.
You guys are tuning in to Ragin' with Meredith Loughlin and Nita Lanning. Our special guests today are Martin Fisher and Mike Jimmy LORTIA de Bruyne. Did I do it right, Jimmy?
Woo!
Did I do it right?
You did it right.
Yeah!
Is it good?
Proper effort.
Or Jim Boy to his friends.
My goodness, he has such a long name. Okay, but for a 10% discount on your Gemini mailers, make sure that you guys go to GeminiComicSupply.com and use coupon code VOLT10. That's right. Save your comics, save a little bit of money, and use that coupon code. It's a 10% discount on your Gemini mailers. Use coupon code VOLT10, VOLT10, and that is courtesy of IndieVolt. Thank you to Varian Grant. We are back with Mark Fisher and Mike Jimmy. You are forever Mike Jimmy. I give up on the last name thing.
That's okay. Mike Jimmy is my real
Mike Jimmy's good.
Yeah, we did too, so don't worry about it.
It's almost like Mar V. It's like we only know him as Mar V because Mario Vasconcelos is too difficult for most people.
Or we could just call him MJ. Just call him MJ.
That's
Very
me.
American.
I'm MJ.
Well, he's MJ too. He's
We're
MJ, and so is his wife.
That's right. Too many MJs out there. All right. Getting back to the creative journey. What has been probably the biggest hurdle that you've had to overcome in order to say this is what I'm doing and this is what I want to continue to do?
Quit my day job.
Well, yeah, I still do a day job as well. I don't write full time. Can't afford to at the moment. But the biggest obstacle is basically trying to get in touch with editors or creatives or anyone that may be willing to give you a chance. That's definitely the hardest thing. And even if you're a professional, it still is, the hardest thing. Unless you just so happen to know a few people in the right places, in which case you're probably golden. If not, they might keep hold of you for a while and then let you go, and then you're kind of back to square one. Mm-hmm. But definitely getting yourself noticed has always been the hardest thing. It probably will always be the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Mike, Jimmy, what about you? The biggest hurdle you're trying to overcome or going through?
So people that know me a little longer than since my comic journey, like I worked in construction, and it gave me pretty severe PTSD because people are awful, especially in construction. Like the IQ is so low that you can't find it with a 10-foot, like with a shovel. Like keep digging, and so at some point when I started my first comic, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm just so angry because of my work that literally everything is my life sucks because of it. So I quit. And only after a couple of months, I realized how severe the PTSD actually was when I couldn't even go and join my dad or something at a quick, small, job. And having to work around that. So, on all sides, construction is, booming right now. So people need you. And having to tell them, no, I'm not doing that anymore. But also trying to find a side job that will take you in for 2 or 3 days a week. That's pretty hard because nobody wants you part-time. So getting around that is, that is definitely one of my biggest hurdles, and it's still my biggest hurdle because my side job is taking so much of my time that, I'm pretty burned out right now.
Yeah. There are so many people who are out there and they see these 5 and 6 figure crowd funds and they think, oh, I can do that. It's easy.
No.
It's easy money. And they don't realize that the majority of creators have to balance that first job to pay the bills. And so what would you say to those people who think, oh, comic books, it's easy, it's just pictures and words?
Fuck you. That's what I say to them.
Essentially, yeah.
Down, Nita, down.
Fucking try it.
Nina, you seem awfully hot.
Work the fucking work.
Call it.
Like.
Or there's a book coming. Hello.
No, but that's the thing. No job is easy. It doesn't matter if it's creative or normal. Not you can do your dream job and it's going to be 80% of things that you don't like to do for 20% that you love. Inking, which is my favorite thing in the world to do, is about 5% of everything I have to do to keep Fairies and Ends running. Most of it is wearing this shirt and moving heavy boxes because my side job is being a mover. I'll take the fucking pill and I'll do it because I've seen Fairies and Ends grow immensely because of it, and because I'm still working the work. I don't mind running those 128-hour work weeks because I know it's going to pay off. You're not working for today. You're always working for tomorrow.
It is one of the hardest things. And Chris Feskin comments over here says, meanwhile, I sunk more money into the book than I did in my car. No lie. I mean, I think the very first time I had to pay for art because I said, I'm taking this leap. I'm taking a leap of faith that my money is going to be an investment, which has its risks and rewards, but a lot of risk, especially when you're starting. And paying for that first piece, I was sick to my stomach. I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Because that's the hard-earned money that you did to get to this point, to start chasing after the dream. Not an easy thing, and not just pictures and words. Definitely not. There's so much more to the industry. And I would personally say to anyone who's coming in brand new, do your research.
Yes.
Like, learn the industry before you go in here and slap up an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter and say, oh, this is my very first book. I have nothing done, but I need $10,000 to make my dreams happen.
No.
It doesn't work that way. That's not how it works.
What he said.
That's where you get the $1, funded Kickstarters with a 27,000 goal. Because that's not how it works. You gotta grow, and you gotta grow slowly. You gotta grow naturally. No one is gonna drop in $1 million in your lap and be like, "Yeah, totally. No, this is your dream. Of course you can do it." Because until you've worked to actually do it, you're not worth anything. People are not going to invest in you until you've shown them that you're worth investing into. Love and Coral 1 and 2, we paid out of our own pocket. Most of these books, like Over a Coffee was a successful Kickstarter for an anthology. My Cup of Tea, we made 1,600 euros on with our Indiegogo campaign. And then another 1,400 euros came out of my own pocket as well to print it, get out to the backers, get it out to the creators, because they each got 3 copies and got paid, and they still receive royalties. Because that is what you got to do. We wanted to network. We want to show the people that we work with that they're appreciated. Doesn't matter their skill level, doesn't matter their experience. If you can deliver for us, that means that you've already done a lot more than most people in this industry, or who say that they're in this industry.
I'm still kind of finding this out as well with indie comics, because I've never really done an indie comic before where I've paid out of my own pocket for it as well. And luckily, doing the Lego stuff kind of helps with that, not just the day job. So obviously Mike's done it many times, so he's kind of teaching me as we go as well. But yeah, it's like, if you believe in a project, put your money where your mouth is. Prove and show people that you're willing to do what's needed to be done to get it out there.
There's something that you said earlier, Martin, and I want to kind of touch base with that again. It's, how do you get your foot in the door? How do you get noticed if you're brand new? And that's in any field, like you said, like with script writing, I'm sure you had to hustle with that. How do you break down the doors?
You need the combination of actually doing the work, getting some things published to show, yes, I've got something that's in print, or I can prove to you that I can write a story, and also sheer dumb luck also plays a part. So the first licensed comic I ever did was, has anyone ever seen a Roger Corman movie called Battle Beyond the Stars? Have you ever seen that?
I vaguely remember.
Okay, well, it's got a very famous spaceship in it. And basically, it was the first film that James Cameron, the guy who did Titanic and Avatar, and what have you, it was his first movie credit because he was the art director on the movie before he was an actual director. So it's this movie. And you notice this spaceship has boobs.
Ah, yes. That's
Hold
where
on,
I remember
let's
it
get
from.
you on the big screen here. Hold on. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That spaceship does have
Now I
boobs.
remember it. It does.
Yeah, and that's John Boy from the Waltons.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we can also see the line down the center in between the boobs. That tells me enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So James Cameron designed that spaceship, and he built
Oh
the
my.
model for it. Yeah. So my first ever licensed comic was basically a prequel to that movie, and I got that out of, again, sheer dumb luck, because I saw a news article about a publisher who got a license to do Roger Corman books, and it just so happened at the time I'd already written, I think, the whole story. Someone who's an artist I knew at the time, he'd already drawn some sample pages, and we put them to the back in the hope that one day it may get made. And within a few months, this announcement came out, and I emailed the guy, and I basically said, "Look, I've got something that's kind of ready to go." And we went from
That's
there,
awesome.
and the book was made. You know, Corman's people approved the story, and we did a 4-issue miniseries, which was a prequel to that, and it was called Battle Amongst the Stars instead of Beyond the Stars. So that came out, and because it was a licensed book, that kind of led to Star Wars as well, because I met an editor at Titan who had the license at the time in the UK. Told him I'd done this book. Told him I'd done a bunch of other books as well. I'd had a graphic novel out by then, and he was polite, and he said, "Well, we don't have any openings right now, but you leave me your details, and if we get an opening, we'll see." And I came back from Comic-Con, and within a month of coming back from Comic-Con, I got an email from a new editor at Titan who basically said, "Oh, the old guy's left. I'm the new guy. We have an opening. Your name was on file. Do you want to do it?"
Nice.
And then it was like, do I want to write Star Wars? Can I get back to you in a week? Yeah, I'll do it. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much the no-brainer. It's like, okay, yeah, let's go for it. And then once,
So you hung up the phone and did the happy dance?
well, actually, I was sitting down at a reception desk at the time, and there were too many witnesses, so I had to do an effigy. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, there may have been a Michael Jackson shout of "hee," but apart from that, no.
Yeah, so breaking down doors. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, and so that led to Star Wars. Then I got Transformers through Titan as well, due to the fact I was already doing Star Wars for them. And then my only TV credit that I've got so far has been through Transformers, because I met a lovely guy called Jeff Klein, who at the time was in charge of the Transformers Prime cartoon, which was airing on the Cartoon Network. So I met him at San Diego, and I just said, I'm already writing comics based on your characters. Would there ever be an opportunity to write an episode? Just on the off chance, and because I know most TV shows, they have like staff writers. They don't really use freelancers. And he was really polite. He said, leave me a card. I do occasionally use freelancers. Send me a script, and I'll read it. I'll let you know. And on Halloween that same year, I got an email from Jeff saying, "Yeah, I've read your script. I like it. We have an opening. Do you want to write an episode?"
Nice.
And I was actually lying in my bed behind me. And yeah, I've never jumped on my feet so fast and let out a kind of happy dance. It was like an earthquake was going off in the house, and it was like, okay, calm down, just politely write back. Yes, I would be very happy to do so.
Yep.
The biggest barrier for a lot of people is the fear of someone saying no. But at the end of the day, a no is not going to kill you. It
Yeah.
might hurt your ego a little bit, your pride maybe, but it takes a lot for people to even ask. So
Yeah.
kudos to you, Martin, for doing that. That is a great way.
If you don't know, if you don't try, how will you ever know? All you've got to lose is, as you say, that the possibility that they will say no. Okay, yes, maybe they will say no, but you just need that one person to say yes, and then you kind of let it go wherever it takes you. But you've got to take the risk, like indie comics. You've got to take the risk and just put it out there and see what comes of it. Otherwise, you'll just be forever held back.
Mike, Jimmy, anything to add to that?
No, that's exactly my thoughts on it as well. Like, just go for it, you know. And I have people submitting to Fairies and Ends. Not as much as, you know, as last year, but and I don't tend to not take on anything right now. But I'm always open for submissions. I'm always open to hear your ideas and see what, you know, if you can't come up with it on your own, then probably together, if I like your idea, we can. You know, like I'm always open to brainstorm with people. And I am currently working with Kimberly Kovac, who wrote Love and Korra 4, for a graphic novel series, you know, of 4 books, because she came to me and was like, hey, I got this very old idea laying around for a webtoon, and what do you think we could do with it? And I was like, well, the way you've written it right now, it could be just 4 48-page graphic novels. And she was like, holy crap, you're right. Let me rewrite it. And so she's working on that right now because, yeah, she came to me going, I got an idea. And it always starts with an idea. The idea is a good thing.
Yeah.
So with the ideas, this is another question that I love asking our creators. Where do they normally come from for you guys? Is it a dream? Is it a piece of dialogue maybe that happens to grow? Where does your muse speak to you from?
Everywhere. The world around you, everywhere. It's there. You've just got to see it. You've just got to want to see it. You know, the idea for this story literally came out of a brainstorming session where I was sitting down, and I think at that point I'd watched about 20 Korean dramas, and you know, the possibility of doing TV is always in the back of your head, and you're going, well, no one in the West, I don't think, has ever gone out and actually written a drama in Korea. But if the opportunity ever come, what would you do? And I was just sitting there trying to think of ideas of what I could do, and this was one of them. That I kind of wondered, I don't know if this has been ever done before. And then when I kind of checked around, it hadn't really been done like this before. And then when Mike was saying, if you've got any ideas that don't involve horrible monsters or horrible deaths, I kind of went, well, actually, I've got this one.
Yeah,
and
you know.
Yeah, and we went from there. But I mean, it's literally, even with coming up with Star Wars stuff. I mean, I've got pages and pages of ideas that could be made into a comic any day if I was ever asked to do one for Marvel or something like that. And you know, and doing the Lego stuff, it's the same thing. You just, sometimes your brain doesn't shut down, and you just kind of come up with ideas without even expecting it. Expect the unexpected. And
I love that you said that you watch Korean drama. I've been trying to get Nita to watch some with me. I have my favorite, the Coffee Prince, and it's amazing because
that one.
You haven't seen that one? Highly recommended.
No. At this stage, I've seen 67 dramas, and that isn't one of them.
It's amazing because the country will shut down to watch the soap opera. It's almost like their siesta. You know, they're like, oh, Coffee Prince is on.
Yeah. I mean, one of my friends, she's a K-pop music writer, and she's an Italian who lives in London.
Oh my goodness!
And yeah, figure that one out. And
How does that even happen?
Ask Rich Peralta.
I don't care. Who cares? She's damn good at what she does. And her favorite one of her favorite Korean dramas is actually, I think, something called Catboy or something. It had a K-pop idol in it, but it was one of the lowest rated Korean dramas in history.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, but she absolutely loves it because it's about a cat that turns into a boy, and it's cat related, and she's obsessed with cats. So go figure.
So, and you mentioned earlier that these are 6 issues planned for the Radiant site to be a series, so that it has that drama feel to it. A lot of times in the writing process, when you're outlining things and you see that number, you put 6 on it, but when you get towards the end, is there room to expand on that, or you're like, nope, this is it?
No, there's definitely room to expand. It's the ending was deliberately chosen, so you get a definitive ending for the characters, but not necessarily the dress that's the main MacGuffin of the series. So there's always the possibility of more if it is warranted. I mean, actually, I wanted to go beyond 6, but Mike said, no, you've got 6 and that's it. I'm like, Mike, I'm going, Mike. I basically, I was on like issue 5, and I'm going, but Mike, I've got another 20 issues to get out here. What are you talking about, 6? He's like, no,
well, that's
6.
the thing. Like, as a publisher, I have to calculate in my risk, and I know that this is going to sell once it comes out. I have no worries whatsoever to get this onto cons and everything. Like, it's gonna go like hotcakes. No problem at all.
Cruelty has a name, and its name is Mike.
Mike Jimmy.
But that does mean that I have to constrain my own risks.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it's going to do awesome. I mean, the art's beautiful, man.
The art is beautiful. Yeah. I think for me, just as an outside observer, is you have a lot of people who are like, Korean drama, ugh. But it's really, the Radiant site is really a timeless story. I mean, there's a love story in there. And and so how do you, because no doubt, like the European market will lap this up, but how are you looking at maybe breaking down the barriers of people like in the United States, for example, who are like, Korean drama?
I think Korean drama, more people are starting to take notice of it now, especially now Squid Game is getting an awful lot of international attention.
Right.
So that's really helping to like get people to watch more of it. But I think maybe it's because maybe about 90 or 95% of K-dramas are actually romance-based. And that may put people off, potentially, because of the subject matter.
Well, what you got to keep in mind for the American market as well is that they have been focused on superheroes, and that's all they know. And you constantly hear people going, yeah, but where's the romance comics and everything? And those people are usually just go, we got this right here. What are you talking about? And suddenly they just jaw drop and they're like, but that's actually a romance. And either they buy it or they're like, oh, well, I've been proven wrong. Excuse me. And they walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just because it's a romance story, it doesn't mean that it's no good. It's definitely got other things other than the romance in it. It's all about what's going on, particularly with that dress. Because it's a dress, but it's what the dress does to people, and it's what the dress does to the person wearing it. It's not just as simple as, oh, it's a bit of clothing. It's more than a bit of clothing. And it's the happiness and the chaos that dress is going to bring into people's lives. So it's got a little bit more of an edge to it than what people may expect.
Right. Yeah, and that seems to be such a big hurdle too, because we've all, there's so many people who might not have picked up a comic book in years. And so their impression is that it's all superheroes. It's all superheroes, it's all
Yeah.
villains and things like that. And really the indie creators who are out there are changing that dialogue. They're bringing quality stories, quality books, and it's surprising the heck out of people and scaring others because they're like, wow, what is this? I didn't know that there could be such a thing as a romance comic. Like, what? Yeah, because because a lot of times you think they're either seeing like horror, they're seeing superheroes, or they're seeing like erotica, like the X-rated comics, but they're really not seeing any of the like PG-13, maybe R, or even like the lighter romances and stuff like that. That's really a burden that the indie creators have to kind of wear with pride and get out there and hustle and make it known.
And we've got some really, we should highlight some of the other people that we've got involved as well. Yannick and Ellen, who are doing the colouring on this, they're actually, they colour some of my Lego Star Wars stuff as well. That's how I got to know them, through one of the Lego artists who they colour her work. And she said, oh, you should talk to these guys because they know about manga and anime and maybe you can work with them. And that's what I did, got in touch and we worked something out, and their work speaks for itself. And then we've got EJ Sue, who's done the alternative cover for the series as well. And EJ is, super professional, super nice guy. He's done Transformers, he's done Godzilla, he's done Astro Boy. He's done some really big things as well. And if you play the trailer, you may possibly recognize, if you're a Star Wars fan, you may recognize the voice of the trailer. Who's doing the narration.
We definitely will play that. I did want to put up Chris Fisk's comment here. This could be a hit with urban young ladies and wine moms. And so I'm kind of curious if you guys have been kind of hitting those markets, like directly.
Not yet.
Not really.
Because it's really. No, because as a dude, like, it's really hard to get into those circles. As being straight white males, go figure.
Because I kind of cut my teeth with romance novels, and that is a multi-billion-dollar industry, And so when you're talking about a good romance novel, then you're going to find some rabid fans who are like, "When's your next one coming out?"
Yeah.
And not only will they follow a title, they'll follow the creative team in writing, of course, the author. So just something to kind of put out there. It's like, hey, like if this is the demographic, let's see what we can do to reach them, huh?
I've been like trying to reach out to obviously fans of K-drama, fans of anime, because we've got that art style as well, and even to some people in Korea that I know, because it's based off the story style is based off dramas made in Korea. I think it would be good for them to see that other people can do it outside of Korea as well. And not only that, it'll be a good tool for helping to learn English as well, if they wanted to read it.
And we are at the end of our hour. We just blew past it a little bit. We're going to play the trailer here, and when we come back, I want to get final words from you guys with maybe the best piece of advice you can give to a young creator who is coming into the field.
And I want to tell everyone who the voice on the trailer is.
Okay, we'll be right back after we play this. Hold on a second. Let me get that set up.
The city of prosperity. Riches for some. But for the masses, scraping by is all they can do. Meet Bitna. It's a hard life with an even harder reality. Living in the roughest part of town, it looks impossible to make it big. But maybe she will find it in a simple dress. The Radiant Sight, a new romance story by Martin Fisher. Now on Indiegogo.
I saw it at the very end. Vanessa Mitchell?
Vanessa Marshall.
Marshall.
Yeah, Vanessa is the voice of Hera in Star Wars Rebels, the animated TV show.
Very cool. Very
and
cool.
she's a super friend. She's a super lovely person. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough of Vanessa. And she's a massive Star Wars fan as well. So we bonded over that.
She's awesome. Martin was like, yeah, she'll do it for free. And I was like, what? You what?
It really
too many good
gave
people.
the video a lot more life. Like,
Yeah.
it sounds a lot better.
Yes. That's
And
Vanessa.
so with the end of our show here, best piece of advice you can give new creators coming into business.
Show no fear. Definitely show no fear. And I don't like quoting Shia LaBeouf, but in this case I will. And do it! Just do it!
Yeah, no, gotta agree.
And see,
For
I'm the
me-
opposite today. I'm evil. I'm like, run! Comics will break.
There's no kind of masochist
right?
comic reader.
Sure.
No, it is one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I'm no rookie. I'm gonna be 50 this year, and it's like, what in the world was I thinking? And no way would I have been able to do this if I was in my 20s. I don't think so. I don't think I would have had the patience or the discipline. Mike Jimmy, best piece of advice you can give new creators.
Start smaller, and if you think something is too small, go even smaller. And beginning, middle, and finish it.
Yes.
Finish
Be
it so
lucky.
you can say, we fucked up, and we're going to do it again, and we're going to do it better.
Mm-hmm.
Get out there, network, show people you're out there. Don't be afraid of criticism, ever.
Yes.
Networking is everything.
Yeah, definitely.
And on that note, you guys, we appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button at our YouTube channel and share this out with your friends. The replay will be available on YouTube. And all of the links to the campaign as well as their social media is there. Follow them everywhere. Just don't peek in their windows because that's weird. Hey, Nita.
I wish you good luck on that. I live on the 4th floor. If you find a ladder that long, you're going to get a cup of coffee from me.
Oh my god.
But my
Come on,
windows are
everybody.
cold enough to black with it.
Just Spider-Man up to your window and just kind of peek in. Yeah, that's not weird at all. Hey, Nita.
Yo,
Fun words.
throw my dudes.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey there, this is Meredith Loughran with RAGIN, and I wanted to let you know that we encourage and promote independent creators and their projects through organic interaction, consultations, and more. Visit Nita and me at RAGINAVC.com for details and contact information. Hit the button.